Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church in Eugene. My name is Heidi Gould, and I am this morning's worship associate. Today I am wearing a very autumnal blouse with black pants and a short silver bob. And we gather in worship to find meaning and to live more deeply. Worship creates connections within, among, and beyond us, calling us to our better selves, calling us to live with wisdom and compassion. Whoever you are, whomever you love, and whatever your image of the holy, we are so very grateful that you are here. If today is your first time, we'd love to get to know you. Our welcoming room is in the south foyer. It's a place for long-time and first-time visitors to meet and get to know one another and ask questions and answer questions. And if you're online, the link to our visitor form is being dropped into the chat now. You can also use your phone to access a copy of our order of service via our homepage of our website or by scanning the QR codes that are around the building. We also have large print copies that you can get from our ushers. There you will find the names of authors and composers. You'll also find text to the choir anthems and resources used in our service.
Well, in addition to finding the tables arranged differently, it is the Sunday after Thanksgiving. So, of course, this being a Unitarian Universalist gathering and congregation, we also, of course, need to explain this morning's service. That is our call to worship this morning. I'm going to explain it. So, for many of us, worship is a time of stillness, of shutting out the world's clamor, of turning inward and quieting our minds. We seek to encounter that which is worthy, to connect more deeply with creation, to rekindle the spirit of life. But worship can also be active, communal, even boisterous. And it is that form of worship we enter today. Today's service is a service for all ages, a spirit jam as we work together to reach out to the community around us and work hand in hand with the Helping the Homeless of Lane County organization. Some of you may remember this from last year when we assembled hygiene bags which Helping the Homeless of Lane County hand out to the people in our community who are unhoused. So after a shortened service with a presentation this morning by Tim Angle, the president of Helping the Homeless, we will assemble hygiene kits that, as I said, they will distribute in the community in the coming weeks. We're going to do that after the service, so we will, as we always do, have a benediction, extinguish the chalice, wish you well, but you're not to leave. We have set up tables in the back with baggies, and it is a matter of getting in line. Some of you, not everyone, but some of you might choose to get coffee first. But then get your bag. It's one of each item in the bag. Seal it shut. It's one of those like cool baggies that goes zzz. And a couple of 2 or 3 pieces of candy. And then we've got bins in the back. We also, if you are willing and able, would appreciate a donation to help defray the cost of the items for these bags. But we will be doing that after the service. So we hope you will stay and fill a bag or two. We're very happy to see all of you here. And so come, let us worship together in chat, and together hand in hand.
Addie, if you would like to join me up here, Adeline. She's our chalice lighter this morning. We light our chalice as a symbol of gratitude as we celebrate the abundance of our lives together. In this sanctuary, we harvest bushels of strength for one another and offer our crop with the hands of compassion and generosity. In the authentic and gentle manner of our connections, we cultivate a simple sweetness to brighten our spirits. May we be grateful for the ways we nourish and uplift each other, for it is the sharing of this hallowed time together that sustains us. These are the words of Katie Savani Gelfand.
My name is Ryan Doppelmayr. My pronouns are she and her. I am a middle-aged, middle-sized white woman with brown hair and a lot of black and gray and a trans love t-shirt on. And I'm gonna invite anyone who'd like to come up a little closer for a story to join me. How about up here? We got plenty of room right up here. We got our carpet squares. So today's a little different, right? We got tables all around. We got some stuff loaded on tables in the back of our sanctuary. But we're flexible. Things are a little different, but we're flexible. And what I'm really enjoying is that not all of the kids were sitting way at the back, which is kind of what usually happens a lot of the time. I love that there's been kind of a little bit of a mixture today at these round tables, because it's awesome and we can all be together in community. And as you folks might realize, on some of these tables, there are some coloring sheets. Yeah, Zoom folks, we've got some coloring sheets. We've got some mandalas. I don't have a lot of them, but I'm gonna ask actually to borrow something from you, maybe. Oh, look at the unicorn, yes. We've got a little beginner embroidery going on with some chalices or some doves. And these are just at some tables, and just so you know, folks, large and small, stuff like this is always on that cart. And you are always invited, whether you are this tall or this tall, to go and grab something, because we've learned that some folks, no matter what their age, are able to focus and listen and center themselves better when their hands are busy, right? So this is not busy work, this is soul work. So you are invited anytime to participate in some coloring, in some embroidery, in some playing with fidgets with your hands, because we are all here together and we are all sharing this experience, and we are all invited to show up in any way that we can. Just a little reminder. I'll get on to our story. Okay, so I do have a book today and a Wonder Box. And I wonder what could be it. It's a little heavier today. Do we have any ideas? Do we have any ideas? Yes.
A rubber bouncy ball.
I don't think it is on, but we have a suggestion from Kino of a rubber bouncy ball.
All right.
Perhaps.
500,000 blue whales.
What? Wowza.
Maybe tiny ones in it.
Maybe tiny whales.
Rock.
A rock.
Toys.
Hmm.
$1 million.
$1 million?
I kind of forgot what I wanted to say.
Oh, sometimes that idea just runs out of our head.
I think it's going to be something hard, like a rock. Is there maybe a box inside of the box?
A box inside of a box inside of a box. A puzzle inside of a mystery inside of an enigma. One more.
Is it one of the bags that we're making later today?
Oh man, we've got some smart kids. So I'm gonna set this down. And I'm gonna ask you to take a look and see what's inside. What's in there? Can you pull it out? Huh.
Can I put out what it is? Can I put
What do you see there?
Stuff.
Stuff? What kind of stuff is in there, Josie?
That's the stuff that we're gonna be doing today.
What kind of stuff is in there? That's true.
Some aid kits and some candy for homeless people, like you told me earlier.
Oh, shush. Okay. All right. Well, cat's out of the bag. So, we have, oh my goodness, we've got first aid kits, we've got Band-Aids, we've got wet wipes, we've got hand sanitizer, we've got razor, we've got a little sweet stuff, we've got a hand warmer. Kind of an odd collection of stuff. But it can be really important stuff for someone who is cold and doesn't have a lot of their own out on the street right now.
Well, I apologize. I got so excited about the fact that this was going to be, and it will be, worship in action, I forgot my manners. Good morning. I'm Sharon Roberts. I am under tall and overweight, and wearing a multicolored sweater. This is my idea. I got all dressed up for this morning. You've seen it before because it is my dress-up sweater. But my apologies for forgetting to introduce myself. I'm a co-worship associate with Heidi. So we now come to our joys and sorrows. And we invite those of you on Zoom to write your joys and sorrows in the chat. And the chat is available throughout the service. And the book that we have for those of you that would like to leave a message is over at the table on the left there. This needs to be shimmed. Or maybe it just needs me not to touch it all the time. And so, or you may light a candle or drop a rock in the water. This morning we have the following: sorrow for my sister's health issues, joy for my other sister teaming with me to help manage them. Remembrance of Freddie Mercury, champion of the world, anniversary of his passing from AIDS. We have the message that Ellie is doing great post-op. She was up walking with assistance on Wednesday and home for her birthday on Friday. Thank you, everyone, for your prayers and good wishes. From Janet. Joy and sorrow that so many came to my son's vigil and love him so much. Sorrow for how much I miss him. Amber. And finally, sorrow for the suffering in Palestine and Israel. We hold all of these sorrows and joys in our hearts. Know that there are many others held in silence and are unspoken.
All right. Can everybody hear me in the back? Great. Okay. So my name is Tim Engel, and I am president of the Helping the Homeless Lane County. And here today, I wanted to talk a little bit about our nonprofit. But originally, I was going to talk about purpose and compassion and the things that bring us together. But I realized that talking to a Unitarian church about those things is, well, just a little redundant. So instead, I wanted to talk a little bit about how I got here and the journey that I took. Well, it really all began when I was a teenager. And as that time, I'm sure we were all trying to find some type of meaning in our lives or some direction. And it just happened to be the fact that I turned on a community radio program that was talking about something called Food Not Bombs. Some of you might be a little bit familiar with Food Not Bombs, but just very briefly, it's an organization of grassroots volunteers that serves vegetarian and vegan food to the homeless. And here I'm 15 years old thinking, hey, great, I'm gonna go get some free food. All right, you know? I didn't really think about what it really meant and what the idea behind it was. I'm sure Food Not Bombs and the idea that if the government spent as much money on bombs and munitions as it did on food, there wouldn't be any hunger. I didn't realize that. I was merely there because I was thinking, hey, I'm going to get some good food. But when I showed up and I saw the people there and I started interacting with some of them, I realized, wow, this is more than just free food. This is about bringing people together and coming to an understanding that just because somebody may not have a home or may not be sober or may have challenges, mental or physical, doesn't make them any less of a human being. And I think starting at this point in my life, I really started trying to figure out what it was that I wanted to do, what direction and meaningfulness that I could find in my life. So I did Food Not Bombs for multiple years, got involved, learned how to be a really good vegetarian cook on food that people were just planning on throwing away. And I got to the point where I was like, okay, this is great, but surely there must be something else in our life that we can do. And so I kind of took a break from that to really think about what it is that who I am, what it is that I want. And so I started studying religion and spirituality and coming to kind of consensus about what it is we're here for. And I really, really believe that what we're here for is to help each other, that we're all here on earth, whether we want to be or not, with these other people. But these other people are not separated just because of value or money or anything like that. We're all the same. And spending the time working with people, helping others, made me feel good. It didn't just help other people, it helped me. And so I decided, okay, well, I want to do social work. And so I went to the university and I got myself a social work degree. And I started working at nonprofits. And I worked at a nonprofit, a homeless shelter for a while. And I really got to talk with these people and to try to understand, how did they get here? How can we help them? And it was at that point that I realized that I actually wanted to be more involved than just on that side. I wanted to start something, but I wasn't sure what, and I wasn't sure how. I was just in the system, but I wasn't sure how to make the system. And so I ended up moving up here to Eugene, and I got a job over at St. Vincent de Paul working with a veterans homeless program. And I did that for a while, and it really helped kind of gain an understanding of how the system works, how the social services system brings people together, but unfortunately, it also lets them down. Now, during my time working at St. Vincent de Paul, I got to see what it is that is kind of problematic in our world. There is a lot of people who simply do not fit into boxes, don't fit the mold of what is an eligible person for a social service. And I really started to wonder, why is it that some people can slip through the cracks while other people can be successful in this? And for a while, I just was like, okay, I'm gonna put my head down and I'm gonna do the best I can to work with these homeless veterans. And I was like, okay, what can I do besides this? Because I got to the point where I got homeless veterans to the point where only about 176 were left out on the streets. I had crafted a whole different system for how we're responding to them. I created this homeless by name list. I was super successful, receiving rewards for Operation 365. But what about those 176 homeless veterans who I simply could not house, that the VA simply couldn't help? What about those folks? And so once again, I had to take a step back to really think about what I'm doing. Yes, I felt successful, but was I really successful? Was I just, once again, just part of the system that allowed people to slip through the cracks? So I took a step back and I got a job actually working as a bag boy over at Fred Mile. And I started seeing people who were homeless come and use the bathrooms. And it kind of clicked in my head. What is the one thing that we all have in common? It's the fact that we rely on hygiene and sanitation services to be the bedrock of health in our community. And I saw people who, oh man, they were dirty, they were unclean. And I started thinking to myself, well, if this is the common denominator, if we can simply help people with this most basic of all human functions, then really, isn't that helping the entire community of itself? Is not the bedrock of everything that we rely on, is that we're being healthy and we're hoping that everybody else is healthy as well? And so I got this idea in my head. Okay, so if I could simply start by providing people the tools and the kits to be healthy and hygienic, then it doesn't matter who slips through the cracks, because at the basis, this is the bottom line. And so this idea, helping the homeless of Lane County, started with that. And I wish I could say that this is where it ends, but I actually would like to really have bigger ideas and bigger goals. What if there was a place where every person who was unhoused or homeless could go and access showers, laundry, the basic things that we all rely on and that we essentially take for granted as being housed? What if there was a way to bridge businesses, community together so that every single person could come together and have the baseline of their needs taken care of? So even though right now we're just going to be making hygiene kits, and believe me, these hygiene kits are appreciated no matter where you go. I'd like to say that Vicky actually would know, because she's the one who goes out there and discusses and talks to people about what should be in these things. She's kind of our community consortium there. But eventually, the idea would be to create a public bathhouse or some type of bathroom where people could go. And it's not just like toiletries and clean clothing. We also need a place where people can access clean water, where people can store their medications, where people can go to feel human again. Because that's really what it's all about. And what I'm really trying to get is that even though I can stand up here and say, yes, I think this is what I believe in, it's not until we actually reach that point that every single person can have that luxury of feeling clean, of having access to the products where they can brush their teeth, put on deodorant, comb their hair, sanitize their hands, that I really will feel like helping the homeless is a success. And it's only because I can stand up here and say thank you to everybody in here that I think that we're actually going to get to that point someday. Because really, it does take a community to get to that point. And really, it takes that conversation, this willingness to say, no, I don't want somebody to have to feel like they don't have the tools and the products to stay clean, but that we know that there are an option out there for everybody. Now, I would like to get grants, I'd like to get more money, but really, this here, being up here, making these kits, this is all I could ever hope for. I mean, I feel successful in this. I feel happy that we can do this. And I want to say thank you to everybody that's a part of this, because believe it or not, everybody involved here is going to be helping every single person in this entire community, because we're helping the baseline, we're bringing it up, and so not just the homeless people, but every single person here. So I want to say thank you once again, and God bless. Appreciate it.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. So now we close the service, and those of us present here today say goodbye to those on Zoom, and we'll continue now